Fabienne Fredrickson from boldheart.com and Bold Heart Business. And I was talking to somebody the other day, a woman who has her own business. She's a consultant to corporations. And she was saying, not enough people are reaching out to me. I don't understand what's going on, Fabienne. And I'm doing the newsletters like I'm supposed to, and I'm speaking like I'm supposed to, and I'm networking like I'm supposed to, but it's not happening, fast enough. They're not reaching out to me. And I looked at her and I said, I know why. And she looks at me quizzically and she said, well, what is it? And I said, you're being too nice. You are working so hard at being the nice girl that you are not positioning yourself as somebody that they're going to reach out to. And she said, please explain this to me. And I said, people, prospects, don't always make the connection that they have a problem and they should reach out to you until you tell them to. It's kind of like if you've ever stayed up in the middle of the night and watched an infomercial. There's a reason that infomercials say, pick up the phone and call now. If you pick up the phone and call now, dial this, and then, if you call within the next 10 minutes, you'll get blah, blah, blah. People, write this down, please. People are silently begging to be led. People want you to tell them what to do. And what I said to her is, I said, you need to have more bold calls to action in your marketing. Not just like, here's my stuff and here's really good content and I just gave you a really good talk for 3 hours and I gave you all my secrets. And they're not going to guess that they need to reach out to you to work with you. You need to be the one saying, hey, so if you don't want to do it yourself, reach out to me, come up to me after the talk and say, I'd like to set up a call to explore what it's like to work with you. Or if you're writing a weekly newsletter, and you should be doing so, whether it's videos or an article, at the end of every email, it should say, hey, do you not want to do this alone? I can help. Or if you're struggling with blah, 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 then we should talk. Or set up a time for us, reach out and let's set up a time to talk about your situation and let's see if I can help. And if I'm not the right person, then perhaps I'll refer you to somebody else. And it's about, this is one of the things I've been talking about for many years is I call it suggestology. It's about making the suggestion, right? Suggest, invite, right? And it doesn't have to be aggressive. It can be, you can still, I told her, stop being so nice, such a nice girl. It doesn't mean that you have to be a bad girl, right? It's about connecting the dots for people and saying, hey, if you are struggling, perhaps we should talk. Let's set up a time for me to hear about your situation and see if I can help. And I'll tell you more about my programs. I'll tell you more about my products or my methodology. But if you don't make these calls to action, people won't connect the dots. Now, as I was just saying, you don't need to be aggressive about it. You can still be feminine. You can still be nurturing. You can care enough to say, you know what, it sounds like you're not having a really easy time with this. Perhaps I can help. Should we sit down together and discuss what's going on for you and see if I can help? I want you, perhaps you've been taught that it's not, it's not polite to do that. But if you think about it from the point of view of they have a problem that you can solve, and if you don't suggest to them that you should get together to discuss working together, they might never. And they might just stay in their situation year after year after year when just working with you for a short period of time or a long period of time, whatever it takes, will get them out of their situation. So I'm asking you to stop being so nice, okay, and boldly weave in calls to action in everything that you do. You'll notice in many of my emails, there's a PS that says, hey, would you like to talk? Let's talk. Schedule a call using this link. Let's explore what it might be like to work together. I do that in every single thing that I do because deep in my heart, I know that if we work together, your situation would be solved. You would no longer, it doesn't have to be this way. You do not have to struggle to build your business. You don't have to struggle or be challenged to get out there and market authentically with integrity and love. You don't have to struggle to take your business from 100 to 500, etc. There is a process for everything. If I know this, it's I believe, my divine duty and my moral obligation to invite you to do so, right? So I just want to ask you to think about how often you're making calls to action. And if it's not in every single marketing thing that you do at least once or twice, then we need to turn up the volume and have you boldly invite people to talk to you about working together. So stop being so nice. That's my assignment, my inspiration for you today. Sending you lots of love. And let's talk. Bye.